Pasi Anfas, Series 2, Paper 2, on the regularity of breath. As the mechanism of the body depends upon the breath for its subsistence as well as for its health, so the breath is important in sustaining the mind and keeping its work regular. Mostly confusion, depression, or any other disorder of mind arises from the disorder of breathing. All diseases, such as hallucinations and delusions, are caused by wrong breathing. For instance, if a person comes running or is hurried for a moment, he loses the regularity of his breath for that moment, and at that moment he is incapable of thinking rightly. If science and the state knew this, they could surely cause some change in the present law. Many who are put in prison for some crime, which is caused by them during the moments of irregular breathing, the state could send to be cured and taught how to breathe, instead of sending them to prison. For neither does the prison cure them, nor does it benefit by their presence there. By this I mean not only a disorder of mind that comes at a certain time, but also one which comes and goes so often during the day, whenever breathing is not rightly done. When people become impulsive, or show irritability in nature, or become impatient at times, or when they get fits of anger, passion, or laughter, when they get spells of tears, this is all caused by irregularity of breath. The physician has no remedy for it. Modern psychology has not found its link. But the mystics of old have for years believed it. Not only believed, but have practiced it, and have found in the end that balance of mind entirely depends upon the regularity of breathing. So, in these words, already Murshid has said very much. Speaking of breath as the movement of the life field, which certainly includes the drawing in of oxygen and the breathing out of carbon dioxide, but which also includes all of the pulses, all of the movements of one's visible body and even the invisible life field. And so breath is a complex phenomenon, but the movement of air in and out of the body is a very evident indicator of this entire complex of subtle energies. And as Murshid explains, this movement represents a bridge between our mind, our mental state, and our body. In this way, the body affects the mind, and the mind affects the body through the medium of the breath. So bringing attention to the breath, bringing the breath into a natural state, is the most effective thing that we can do to clarify the connection between the mind and body, and to bring ourselves into a state of mind that is clear and lucid, seeing that when we speak recklessly or act impulsively, it almost always is the result of breath that is shallow and breath that is irregular, usually too rapid. So simply by slowing down the breath, deepening it, and making it rhythmic, we can find that we tune our own mind. The mind becomes clear, attentive, self-controlled, and it just comes naturally. And Murshid makes a very interesting note here. Sadly, the situation has even worsened since the time in which Murshid lived. There's a real epidemic of incarceration in our society, and a tendency simply to lock people away rather than really trying to help. And what Murshid is advising here is to better understand the roots of activity which is destructive. And if one investigates fully, one will find that root in the breath itself. In fact, Sayyid Abu Hashim Madani, the Murshid of our Murshid, said to him that on this path there is one virtue and one sin. The sin is the breath that goes out in negligence, in forgetfulness, and the virtue is the breath that is breathed in the awareness of the unity of being. From that pure breath, from that awake breath, spring all of the virtues, all kindness, all self-giving, all generosity, all forgiveness. It comes from the connectedness that comes with an awake breath. And all the selfishness and aggression and hatred and actions that cause harm all come from a breath that is disconnected and that's gone awry. So just imagine, instead of a system based on the motivation to punish and to exclude, a system based in the wisdom of the cultivation of the root of all virtue.